Citizens, welcome back to the channel. We are starting off 2026 with a massive bang. Just when we thought we had a moment to breathe after the holiday updates, the machine is ramping up again in a way that I don't think many of us expected. This early in the year, we have fresh concrete intel that Alpha 4.6 is imminent for Evocati testing. But this isn't just a stability patch or a minor content drop. We are looking at the introduction of features that the community has been begging for since the very earliest days of the Arena Commander module. Specifically, we are talking about a complete overhaul of visual tech for pilots, changes to the inventory system that will make your head spin, and the looming shadow of a potential wipe that could reset progress across the board. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into the 4.6 leaks, specifically the new ship Light Amplification tech, and then we are going to zoom out and look at the state of the game over the last month and what the arrival of crafting in the tech preview channel means for the future of the persistent universe. Grab a drink, sit back, and let's break it all down. First up, let's talk about the headline feature for 4.6 Evocati. We are finally getting proper ship light amplification. If you have been playing Star Citizen for any length of time, you know the pain of flying on the dark side of a moon-like microtech. You are coming in for a landing, your headlights barely reach 50 meters in front of you, and suddenly, boom! You have slammed nose first into a mountain or a crater that was completely invisible until the moment of impact. For years, we have had to rely on spamming the ping scanner just to see the wireframe of the terrain, or even worse, users have had to use third-party software like Reshade just to artificially boost the gamma so they can see where they are flying. That era ends with 4.6. Here is the current intel on how this system works in the early test builds. The feature is toggled under the Vehicles, Seats, and Operator Modes binding menu. The default keybind is right Alt plus L. When you hit that bind, it doesn't just turn on a flashlight, it effectively turns all the glass in your cockpit, all the windows, into light amplified screens. Think of it exactly like the night vision scopes we already have for FPS sniper rifles, but applied to your entire field of view while piloting. Now, there are some really interesting nuances here that show CIG isn't just slapping a green filter on the screen and calling it a day. In this early Evocati phase, support is limited. It seems to be working perfectly on ships like the Anvil Arrow, the Aegis Avenger Titan, and the RSI Scorpius. However, pilots who have tried it on larger vessels or some of the newer ships we have seen entering the pipeline like the Perseus, the Shiv, and the Guardian have reported that it is not active on those hulls just yet. Even the Corsair seems to be missing the tech in this first build. This tells us that CIG likely has to go through ship by ship and enable this layer on the cockpit glass. So we should expect a rolling update where more ships get night vision certified as the PTU patches roll out. One of the coolest details about this implementation is that it is manufacturer specific. It adds so much flavor to the ships. If you are flying an Anvil Arrow, the amplification has a distinct greenish tint, very military, very classic. Night vision, if you jump into an Avenger, it's a lighter, cleaner blue. And for the Scorpius, it's a slightly deeper, more tactical blue hue. This isn't just a cosmetic filter, it actually changes how you perceive light sources. The report mentions that light amplification heavily reduces visible colors to prioritize contrast. A great example of this is lasers. If you are in a Scorpius and you fire red laser repeaters, they actually appear blue through the amplified cockpit glass. This is a realistic touch. Night vision works by amplifying available light, which often washes out specific color spectrums. The early verdict from testers is that it is incredibly well tuned. One of the biggest fears was that this would result in excessive lens flares, or that looking at a landing pad light would blind you, but the reports say it mostly just brightens up the dark areas without blowing out the visuals that are already bright. It is subtle, effective, and professional. To quote one of the testers directly, they said it reminds them a lot of the implementation in Elite Dangerous, which honestly is the gold standard for spaceflight night vision, but without those wireframe outlines that Elite uses. It feels more grounded, more Star Citizen. This is going to change low flying, canyon running, and especially nighttime dogfighting. You won't be shooting at markers on your HUD anymore. You'll actually be able to see the enemy ship's orientation in the pitch black of space. Now, moving away from 4.6 and the tactical side of things, let's look at the broader strategic layer of the game. Over the last month, we have seen a flurry of back-end updates that point toward one thing: the economy is about to change forever. We have seen hints in the monthly reports and data mine strings referencing raw material processing and blueprint integration. This connects directly to the rumors that crafting is coming to the Tech Preview channel very soon. Why is this important? Because up until now, Star Citizen's economy has been strictly buy and sell. You mine a rock, you sell the rock, you salvage a hull, you sell the material, you buy a gun, you lose the gun. With the introduction of crafting, we are likely going to see the first loop where you keep those materials. Instead of selling that RMC or that ore, you might be feeding it into a fabricator to create ammunition, multi-tool attachments, or perhaps even vehicle components down the line. This ties heavily into the inventory changes we have been tracking. We know CIG is pushing for fully physicalized inventory, the days of the magic bag of holding, where you can access your entire armor collection from a magical menu as long as you are in the local area are numbered. The recent updates suggest we are getting very close to a system where items strictly exist where you put them. If you leave your sniper rifle in a rack at Port Tressler, it is at Port Tressler. You cannot pull it out of a terminal at Microtech. This makes logistics gameplay actually viable. If you want to move your fleet or your base of operations, you can't just fly your character over and claim your ships. You will have to physically load your gear into a cargo hauler and move it. This brings us to the most controversial yet perhaps necessary topic of the day: the wipe. With 4.6 introducing new visual tech and the near future updates bringing fundamental changes to how items are stored, persisted, and crafted, the database structure of Star Citizen is going to undergo massive stress. We have noticed a pattern in the last month of updates. The backend services have been migrated and the replication layer is being tweaked again. Historically, whenever CIG touches the inventory database this deeply to prepare for a feature like crafting or persistent hangars, a wipe follows. While nothing is officially confirmed until we see that database reset yes on the patch notes, I would strongly advise everyone to mentally prepare for a clean slate. A lot of people get frustrated by wipes, and I get it. You spend weeks grinding for that Carrack or that 890 jump. But we have to remember, we are still in alpha. When they introduce a system that changes the fundamental ID of every item in the game, which crafting and physical inventory do, keeping the old data is often more trouble than it's worth. It leads to bugs, lost items, and character corruption. A wipe with 4.6 or the following patch would allow them to seed the universe with the new crafting blueprints and materials properly, leveling the playing field so everyone starts the new economy at the same starting line.